I absolutely love this post coming from Northwestern Athletic Director Mark Jackson. This deep in the bowels of Beaver Stadium. Look at the pure, unadulterated joy on the faces of the Northwestern Wildcats, and the man in the middle, head coach David Braun, as NU wins at Penn State for the first time in more than a decade. And we are thrilled that Coach Braun joins us for today's big interview. Dave, welcome in. I know you guys are riding a little bit of a heater, a 3-game win streak right now. We hope to keep the momentum going. Our coaches have done pretty well on this particular weekend after the interview. So I do want to start by taking you back to that moment. What was it like to celebrate a win of that magnitude on the road with your guys?
Yeah, the word special doesn't do it justice. Just an incredible moment with our team. And, all week long we had been talking about, we know who we are. We're going into a hostile environment. It's going to take 4 quarters. We're going to have to weather the storm. We'll face adversity. We're, going up against a very talented Penn State team that had their backs up against the wall. And for our guys not only to win the game, but overcome some adversity along the way and finishing it off in the 4th quarter the way that we did. Just a euphoric moment to celebrate with a group of guys that have been working so hard, dating all the way back to January. This is a special group to coach, and it's a fun group to celebrate, wins with. But wins on the road and the Big Ten don't come easy, and it was a pretty energetic locker room postgame.
Yeah, Coach, congratulations on that one and obviously the 2 before that. So keep the roll going. Let me ask you a question. Following Northwestern football for a long time, it seemed when Northwestern had their best days, the head coach, the athletic director, the administration, the alumni, everybody was kind of aligned in the same, pulling the train in the same direction. Where do you feel your program stands right now with everybody involved?
Yeah, recruiting's the lifeblood of any program. And, when Mark Jackson got hired here, I felt like we landed the biggest 5-star recruit we ever could have in terms of just his leadership, his understanding of what it takes, in the realm specifically around football from his time at USC. And, having Mark's leadership over the course of the last year has had a tremendous positive impact on this football program and all of our student athletes. And in a very chaotic time in college football, you need alignment more than ever. But, Mark's leadership on campus, we're celebrating our 95 Rose Bowl team this weekend, the alumni. You just feel the energy around the program in a really good place. And so thankful to have Mark's leadership and excited of all that is to come, not only this season, but into the future.
Yeah, great. Yeah, let me ask you something. I think 2 months ago, nobody realized what a talented athletic football team UCLA had. You guys beat them. And you guys didn't miss many tackles, didn't give up many big plays. That catches everybody's attention. And then all of a sudden, you're playing Penn State last week, and I'm watching that game, and your defense, again, I'm all focused on defense right here, how they matched up with the athleticism of UCLA, and then Penn State. You were the most physical team. If you looked at, I'm sitting there watching it saying Northwestern is more physical on defense than Penn State is on offense. And, man, it was impressive. I mean, what would be, from day one, the biggest improvement that you've made on defense to get to where you're at right now?
Yeah, no, thank you, Coach. Ultimately, like our brand of football, we're going to have to turn it into a street fight. We're going to have to win the rushing battle. We're going to have to win the turnover battle. When you turn on the tape, every single Sunday post game, we better be the most physical team on that field each and every week if we plan to win. But, it sounds oversimplified, Coach, but where this group has really grown specifically on defense, you see it on the last 2 plays, those third down, fourth down stop. Yep. It's just guys playing with great leverage, trusting their teammate, and finishing with sound tackling. Tim McGargle, there's no one better in the country in terms of teaching tackling, teaching leverage, teaching ball disruption. We're so fortunate to have Tim leading our defense. And what you've seen is that group continue to improve each and every week. That's something that needs to continue.
You know, I had known about Preston Stone, your quarterback, to transfer, you know, from his SMU days. And that first game was a trap game, if there ever was one, right? I mean, I played down there. I mean, I know what you're getting into at New Orleans, or down in Tulane. But since that game, boy, your guys have done a great job on offense of bringing him along, eliminating the turnovers. You're getting more run-pass combinations. What's kind of turned the light on for him?
You know, I think step one was him and everyone understanding you're not defined by one bad day. You know, and that was a bad day for our football program, a bad day for Preston down at Tulane. But his ability just to reset and get back to work, you should have seen the energy that he had at that Monday practice post-Tulane, and then into Tuesday. You know, he was unwavering in his leadership and the way that he goes through his process. And I think Preston has started to understand, especially in this league and who we are as a football team, you know, ultimately he doesn't have to win the game for us on every single play. He just needs to be himself. And what I know about Preston Stone, he's accurate, he processes well. There's so many qualities that he possesses, but the most important factor that separates him is that dude is a winner. You know, he's a winner in everything that he does. All you have to do is come watch our 2-minute drills on Wednesday and see Preston operate in that space. He's a winner. And, you know, as long as we can continue to put him in a position where he doesn't feel like he has to press and he's just playing within rhythm and playing within the offense, that dude's going to find a way to win a ton of football games.
My last question, a little fun one. Curtis Shaner, does he do any work for you at his role with equipment guy, David? I got to ask, I'm telling you, I was at Oklahoma State with Curtis. I'm probably dating myself a little bit. But we were so bad down there, and we had no money. Curtis was the equipment guy. He dragged the bags out. I think we used him as a scout team player. I mean, he was just out of college. He was a young kid. I remember guys blocking him. And he's 32 years at Northwestern. Can he even drag a bat? Does he do any? How's Curtis? What's my man doing?
He's the same Curdy. I mean, he's doing everything. You know, he's always on the move. He's always on top of it. No job too big, no job too small. Thing that's really neat, you know, we just got done with practice. You know, Coach Barnett addressed the team post-practice, celebrating our 95 Rose Bowl team. And Curdy's been around here so long, the relationships that he shares with our former players, former coaches. Curdy comes up and gives Coach Barnett a big hug.
Yeah, it's great.
So fortunate. And Curdy's doing well. Love him.
Tell him I said hi.
Will do.
All right, Coach, we always like to get our guests out with a little game of three. And I have three quick questions for you, a little bit off the beaten path. We'll go first through third down, and then we get you out of here. So first down, I want to take you back to May of 2024. You're selected to throw the first pitch at Wrigley. How nervous were you, and how do you assess your performance?
You know, I was very nervous for the pitch. I'd assess it as a B+. It was a strike. But singing the seventh inning stretch, different story. That was a bad deal, guys.
By the way, I got to do it as well, and I also graded myself a B+. I got back to my seats, and my son said, no, that's only an American League strike. I give you an absolute C-. Second down, you look at your program and the school that you're at. A rigorous academic school. Last couple of years, more than a dozen Big Ten distinguished scholars just from the football program alone. And David, we're talking about guys taking classes like organic chemistry, genetics and evolution, philosophy of religion. Are you ever just blown away in talking with these young men by not just how good they are on the football field, but how ridiculously smart they are?
Every single day. The conversations that happen at our training table, the intelligence of this team, what they navigate playing at the highest level of college football and earning, you know, a degree from one of the premier institutions in the world. It takes a special young man, and you know, honored to be the person that's got the chance to lead them. But my gosh, I do not envy their class rigor, that's for sure.
No question. All right, third down. You mentioned it. This is the weekend that the 95 Rose Bowl team is honored. What do you think a soon-to-be 11-year-old David Braun was doing on that Rose Bowl day, January 1st, 1996, when Northwestern faced USC?
I was watching the game with my dad. I mean, we're sitting in the living room, and you know, it's funny. I tell this story a lot, but my dad and I watched the Notre Dame Northwestern game at the front end of that season. I'll never forget my dad kind of like tapped me on the shoulder like, David, this is a big deal, and but we took in that game, and my dad being from Ohio, my mom being from Indiana, family that's from Big Ten country, like, Rose Bowl is something you watch every single year. I know the Cats end up falling short, but that was a fun day. That'll be a memory that's etched in my mind forever.
Speaking of family, let's get you out of here on a question related to family. And I take you back to your hiring. You come in as a DC, and less than 6 months later, you're named the interim head coach. Just a couple of weeks later, you're standing in front of guys like me at media days trying to answer questions that, at that point, you really should not have had to answer. And oh, by the way, your wife at that point is what, some 8 months pregnant? You're getting ready for your third child at that juncture. And since then, you win a Big Ten Coach of the Year. You're now on track to get this program to a postseason for the second time in 3 years. Have you and Kristen had the chance to just sit back in some of those quiet family moments, realize what you've done, be not just grateful, but also kind of proud of yourselves in what you've accomplished over the course of the last 2+ years?
Yeah, no, we are grateful. We got 3 healthy kids that absolutely love it here. We came to Northwestern knowing that this was a dream job, coming here as the defensive coordinator. There were some difficult days, difficult weeks, difficult months. All credit to Kristen. Us that are in this world know that. If you don't have the right wife at home, there's no. I couldn't do what I do without her, and ultimately, God is good. Through some trying times, leaning into my faith, leaning into the people around me, and ultimately remind myself why I got into this, and it's the young men that I get to coach every single day. Honored to be the head coach at Northwestern, and so excited about where this program is today, and staying humble and hungry and focusing on Purdue, but. Dang excited about where this program's headed as well.
I know David said that the best recruit maybe that Northwestern's gotten recently was Mark Jackson. I think he would probably say the best recruit he's ever gotten was his wife. Yeah. I think all of us can say that. There's no doubt about that. Coach, hey, we really appreciate the time. Look forward to watching you guys against Purdue this weekend as we try to make it 4 in a row for Northwestern. David Braun, thanks for the time, Coach.
Thanks for having me on, guys.